Hey everyone, have you ever wondered if democracy still exists in India? It's a big question. Some might say, of course we have elections, we can vote for whoever we want. But let's dig deeper. In this video, I'll show you some eye-opening stuff. Now, if you're a big fan of PM Modi, maybe even see him as a godlike figure, it might be hard to see beyond that. But for the rest of us who care about our country, pay attention. There's a pattern emerging. One nation, one party. They're silencing the opposition, manipulating elections, controlling the media, and more. It's like democracy is slipping away. Before we talk more, let's understand what democracy really means. It's not just about voting. Even North Korea has elections. Yeah, surprising, right? Did you know that in some places like North Korea and even Russia, they hold elections too? But here's the catch. If you don't vote for the government's chosen candidate, you could get into serious trouble, like losing your job or even your home. So just because a country has elections doesn't automatically mean it's a democracy. The elections have to be free and fair, meaning people can vote without fear, and all candidates have an equal chance. Let me give you some examples. Remember the mayor elections in Chandigarh? The Congress and AAP alliance had the majority votes, but the presiding officer declared some votes invalid, and guess who won? BJP, caught on camera. And that's not all. In Assam, an EVM machine was found in a BJP candidate's car. And just recently, some people tried to steal an electronic voting machine from voters. Are these elections fair? The Election Commission is supposed to ensure fair elections, but it's been accused of bias. Even PM Modi himself accused them before he got elected. And remember when Modi used martyrs and airstrikes to ask for votes? Against the rules. But no action was taken. Modi and Shah have gotten clean chits in multiple cases, even though one election commissioner disagreed. And guess what happened to him? His family got notices from the government. Isn't that fishy? In a democracy, institutions should be independent, like the Election Commission. But the government passed a law to control their appointments. Why? And when it was challenged, the Supreme Court didn't do anything. So, is our country really a democracy? In the MP elections, there's a spending limit of Rs9, 5 million per seat. So when BJP contested on 437 seats, their total spending shouldn't have been more than Rs4, 15 billion. But guess what? They spent Rs12 balls, 64 billion. How did the Election Commission allow this? Plus, the Center for Media Studies estimated BJP spent Rs270 billion in previous elections, way above the limit. And now, electoral bonds worth Rs160 billion have been sold, mostly to BJP. This money overshadows the spending limit by a long shot. Imagine a social worker trying to compete with that kind of cash. And it's not just about money. Even if an opposition party forms the government, it gets broken apart. There are countless allegations of horse trading against BJP, buying off MLAs with huge sums of money. Investigative agencies should be looking into this. But if they're biased, who will investigate? Imagine the conversations in these politicians' homes, one boasting about silencing the people's voice, the other proudly showing off the money from selling out. It's sad to see how low they've fallen. If money doesn't work, they use agencies like ED to harass opposition leaders. More than 3,000 raids have been carried out, mostly against opposition parties. And magically, when politicians join BJP, all charges disappear. Remember washing powder Modi? When Himanta Biswa Sharma was in Congress, he was accused in multiple corruption cases. But once he joined BJP, investigations stopped. Many such politicians joined BJP, and suddenly corruption allegations were forgotten. BJP leader Atal Bihari Vajpayee once said he wouldn't want power if it meant relying on it. Bihari Vajpayee once said, "If I get power, I don't even want to touch such power with a tong." But things have changed. Nitin Gadkari, when asked about BJP's washing powder, jokes that their detergent is eco-friendly. He says winning elections decides what's right or wrong. Whose side are you on? Present-day Gadkari or the former PM Vajpayee? Comment below. Even if opposition politicians resist the lure of money and pressure from ED, they still face consequences. Many end up in jail without being convicted. AAP MP Raghav Chadha claims if certain politicians join BJP, all their cases will be dismissed. It's not just about conviction. Opposition leaders are jailed before trials even conclude. And in states with opposition governments, they're not allowed to work freely. Many states accuse the Modi government of using governors to interfere in state affairs. The Kerala government even complained to the Supreme Court about the governor delaying approved bills for 2 years. The Supreme Court ruled such interference unconstitutional. In Delhi, the LG's interference has long been a problem. CM Kejriwal says they're not allowed to work properly, and even the Supreme Court agreed. But after the ruling, the central government passed a law to transfer more power to the LG, undermining cut-off payments to laboratories and even removed data entry operators from government hospitals. Patients are left stranded with no one to register them. It's dirty and disgraceful. Do they want to harm the people of Delhi? Think about it. Even if you're a Modi supporter, put that aside for a moment. Would PM Modi, if he truly cared about the country, let such things happen? Some may think I'm funded by an opposition party to say this, but the truth is, I'm not. What I'm showing you here reflects the reality of our country. If you care about our nation, open your eyes to these truths. News Laundry recently uncovered a report showing how the ED targets not just political parties, but also companies. At least 23 companies faced raids and later donated millions to BJP. Were they coerced? Are our elections fair? The media plays a crucial role here too. Fair elections mean equal coverage for ruling and opposition parties. But what do we see? Non-stop praise for the government on every channel. Opposition parties barely get a word in. There was a time when Doordarshan hosted debates with both ruling and opposition politicians. Can they do that now? Today, BJP spokespersons don't even need to speak. TV anchors do it for them. Instead of questioning the government, they defend it, even blaming youth for unemployment. NDTV, the last channel to question the government, was eventually taken over by Modi's friend. TV news has died a silent death in our country. Tax money funds these channels, and they silence citizens' voices. If real news doesn't reach you, can you vote freely? Manipur burned for 77 days, yet no special reports. The KAG reported massive irregularities, but did you hear about it on TV? Probably not. The second misconception is confusing democracy with majoritarianism. Imagine you're in a car with 5 people and 3 vote for loud music despite knowing it harms someone with a heart problem. Is this democracy? No, it's stupidity. Similarly, in societies, rules are imposed by majority vote, even if they're discriminatory or baseless. Democracy isn't about majority tyranny. It's about fairness and respect for all. The local RWAs are a prime example of majoritarianism in our country. Speaking of democracy and majoritarianism, I'd like to recommend an ebook on Amazon, Fascism and Democracy. It's a simple adaptation of George Orwell's work explaining dictatorships. Now, back to our topic. Some believe that once politicians are elected, they can make any rules they want. But our Constitution's preamble outlines 4 crucial words: liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice. Dr. Ambedkar even called these the principles of life. A majority vote doesn't justify taking away someone's rights or making unfair rules. Some government decisions go against democracy, deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Recently, the Supreme Court struck down the electoral bond scheme as unconstitutional and arbitrary, a step towards upholding democracy. However, holding the government accountable isn't just the Supreme Court's job. It's also the duty of the opposition, media, civil society, and citizens. Mechanisms like the RTI Act provide us with government data, and the media, known as the fourth pillar of democracy, plays a crucial role in accountability. Yet PM Modi has held 0 unscripted press conferences to date, in stark contrast to former PM Manmohan Singh, who addressed the press over 100 times. Accountability is essential for a thriving democracy. The last time our Prime Minister held a proper press conference was over 10 years ago, where more than 100 journalists asked him 62 unscripted questions. In a true democracy, this accountability is crucial and gives citizens the right to protest. When elected officials evade accountability under the RTI or to the media, citizens must hold them responsible. Recently in UP, the government issued undemocratic guidelines for coaching centers, restricting classes for girls after 8 p.m., citing safety concerns. However, activists protested against this rule, leading to its withdrawal. This incident highlights the power of people in a democracy. But what if the right to protest is taken away? When farmers protested, they were met with excessive force resembling a war zone. Rubber bullets and tear gas were used, resulting in injuries and even blindness. This treatment of peaceful protesters raises questions about the government's actions. Similar treatment was seen in past protests, where lives were lost. Over 600 farmers were reportedly killed in the last protest alone. Many other protests go unnoticed by the media, but their suppression affects us all. If the government mistreats protesters, we could face the same treatment if we defend our rights. Is democracy still alive in our country? If things continue this way, we could soon resemble authoritarian states like North Korea and Russia, where democracy exists only on paper. Thank you.